Hello again. In this video we're going to cover something that quite a few people have problems with, and that's sufficient inward focuser travel. And you usually hit that problem if you're using sort of a 0.5 focal reducer on a webcam, or if you're using a DSLR. Now I'm going to show you two ways to get round it. I'm going to show you the way that I originally got round it, and then I'm going to use a couple of pieces of kit that are either not easily to get hold of or actually not very well publicised, and show you an alternative. So what we're going to do first is we'll just go in close up on the focuser. Right, we're now in close up on the focuser on my Skywatcher 200p. Now the first thing that you may notice is that even though that is the standard Skywatcher adapter that's in there, I had mine machined by an engineer friend, and I basically just had 10mm taken off the end and then drilled and threaded for the fixing screws. It just gave me that extra 10mm of inward travel, which at that time was what I wanted, and we'll call that the Mark 1 version. Now you would think that Skywatcher would let you just unscrew these two screws like so, take the standard adapter out and then place 2-inch fittings directly into the focuser tube, and that would answer a lot of problems. The only thing is, it doesn't. Now that's where the next piece of kit comes in. So I'm going to introduce you to this. This is a telescope service attachment. It's made by a company called Telescope Service, which is in Germany, and it's actually a direct replacement for this. You know, it's threaded to fit into the focuser tube, but it also uses compression ring as opposed to the normal screws going in and digging into your eyepieces and your fittings and everything, so it's actually far superior. So what we're going to do is we're just going to swap the two over, and I'm going to do a cut at that point because it takes quite a bit of screwing, and yes, these are the jokes, folks. Right, so we now have our telescope service attachment fitted in, which now allows us to take 2-inch eyepieces or other fittings and just put them directly into the focuser tube, so it's given us a lot more inward travel. But it doesn't stop there, because what we can do next is add a few more parts. Next I'm going to introduce you to this. Now this is an Orion Precision Self-Centering Adapter. I've introduced this in other videos, but there's a couple of sort of undocumented features of these that I'm going to show you next. Now obviously we can fit this directly into there, which now you can use a webcam with a 0.5 focal reducer where you might need further inward travel. But what if you've got a DSLR? Well, if you take one of these and unscrew the compression ring, take out the compression washer, we now have a T2 thread built onto there. Again, straight into the adapter, T2 thread, DSLR. These also have a thread on the inside for 2-inch filters. Now these actual fittings, although mine's an Orion one, there are actually a couple of different makes of these. The most common one is Antares. It's exactly the same piece of kit, it's just rebadged. Now I found the most available place for getting hold of these is from Rother Valley Optics, and I'll put the URL up on the screen. Right, it doesn't end there, because now what if we want that outward travel that we've lost by removing the Skywatcher fitting? Well, you could sort of mess about and start unscrewing this and, you know, screwing the fitting back in, and it's just basically, it's a lot of messing about. So what we use next is we use another piece of kit, again from Telescope Service, which is this. Now this is a 35mm extension, and again it's got a compression fitting, which means it's not going to damage any of your kit. It's also again got a screw thread on the inside for 2-inch filters. Now this will fit directly into there. That now gives you the same spacing as you previously had with your Skywatcher adapter. It's a lot easier to sort of do this than it is to start unscrewing and screwing fine threads in the middle of the night and when it's dark. So it just makes things a lot easier. And obviously again you can take your adapter and fit that in, or your 2-inch eyepieces or whatever. So we've got a fully adaptable system with regards to focus travel. Now you can get these in longer lengths. This is the shortest one that I've managed to find. Again, like I said, it's Telescope Service. Now the thing is with Telescope Service kit, it's available from Telescope Service in Germany, but what prohibits the buying of it quite a bit for me, to be honest, is the post and packing, which can turn out to add sort of over €9 onto your order. What I have found though is one supplier in the UK that actually actively stocks Telescope Service stuff and sells it very, very competitively is Modern Astronomy. So if you do get into Modern Astronomy, again I'll put the URL up there, and either telephone or email and ask for Bernard. He'll sort you out with whatever bits and pieces it is that you need. And I think you'll agree that it's quite an adaptable system doing it that way. It's just all makes everything modular, and like it's a hell of a lot easier, especially in the dark, to just be able to swap and change from one to the other. And that's about it for this one. So once again, thanks for watching.